And pledges, and we'll bring up Chaplain Rodriguez. Johnny, come up and get us kicked off right, sir.
Let's pray. Father, creator and ruler of heaven and earth, you made man in your likeness to subdue the earth and master it, and to recognize the work of your hands in created beauty. Grant that we, your children, surrounded by signs of your presence, may live continuously in Jesus Christ, your Son. All-powerful and everlasting God, cast out from our hearts the darkness of evil and sin, and bring us to the true light of your truth. Strengthen the hearts and minds of our leaders to keep focused on the betterment of our city and all who live and work here. Keep the evils of worldly desires away from our hearts, and put your Spirit within us all, especially those elected to do what is best for our citizens and our community. And we ask all of this in the precious name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Let's get my stack. First things first this morning on our proclamations and recognitions. We want to recognize San Angelo for being a tourism-friendly Texas Bee community. We're going to bring up Madeline Phillips, who will come up and make a few words. Madeline. And Jeremy Bart. I didn't read all the sentence parts, I just got Madeline and Tex Critter. Yeah, just come on this side. You can.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today. It's an absolute pleasure to come back to San Angelo and celebrate with you guys the designation for the Tourism-Friendly Texas Certified Community. My name is Madeline Phillips. I'm from the Office of the Governor, Economic Development and Tourism, Travel, Texas. I just love to say a few words of recognition for all the efforts that the team here at Discover San Angelo did on behalf of the city. This certification recognizes communities that have demonstrated a long-term commitment to strengthening their visitor economy through collaboration, strategic planning, destination stewardship, and exceptional hospitality. On behalf of the state of Texas, congratulations to Discover San Angelo for leading this effort on behalf of the city and bringing together the many partners who helped make this achievement possible. Tourism is often thought of as simply bringing visitors into a destination, but its impact reaches far beyond hotels and attractions. Tourism supports local businesses, creates jobs, strengthens community assets, preserves the places that make a destination unique, and helps improve the quality of life for the people who call that community home. The numbers tell an impressive story. In 2025, visitors generated $261.1 million in direct travel spending throughout San Angelo. That visitor activity produced $8.3 million in local tax revenue, helping fund essential city services without increasing the burden on local residents. In fact, visitor spending saved the average San Angelo household approximately $650 in local taxes that would have otherwise been needed to be paid by residents themselves. Those are tangible benefits that demonstrate why tourism matters, not just for visitors, but for every member of this community. San Angelo has built a destination unlike anywhere else in Texas. Visitors are drawn by one of the only constant level lakes in Central Texas, one of the nation's top 5 nationally ranked stock shows and rodeos, an expanding arts and culture scene, the nationally recognized preservation of Fort Concho, annual film and music festivals, the championship tradition of Angelo State University athletics, a vibrant downtown with locally owned shops and restaurants, and the unique public art like Paintbrush Alley, and countless authentic West Texas experiences. These are the kinds of places and stories travelers increasingly seek, and they reflect the pride this community takes in preserving its heritage while continuing to invest in the future. That commitment has also been recognized by the state of Texas through San Angelo's designation as the Visual Arts Capital of Texas, a fitting honor for a community where creativity, history, and culture continue to flourish. The Tourism-Friendly Texas certification is never the work of one individual. It reflects an entire community coming together around a shared vision for tourism and economic development. I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to those who submitted letters of recommendation and support of this certification, one of the requirements of the certification. Representative Drew Darby, Eric Moreno of Spring Hill Suites, and Robert Bluehart of Fort Concho National Historic Landmark. Your support demonstrates the strong partnerships that exist throughout this community and your shared commitment to San Angelo's continued success. I'd also like to recognize and thank Mayor Tom Thompson, City Manager Daniel Valenzuela, and the members of the City Council for their continued leadership and support of tourism as an economic development strategy. I've done a lot of these presentations, and city leadership support is one of the main drivers of the development that you guys have seen here in San Angelo. I'd also like to acknowledge Downtown San Angelo, Inc., the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce, the San Angelo Economic Development Corporation for their continued investment in the community's growth and prosperity, your local businesses and tourism stakeholders, and especially the residents of San Angelo, whose hospitality and community pride create the welcoming experience that visitors remember long after they return home. A very special congratulations goes out to the outstanding team at Discover San Angelo for leading this certification effort. I want to say thank you to Jeremy Bartz, Jonna, Carter, Linda Bertle over at the Visitor Center Manager for the tremendous work that you invested throughout this process. I'd like to also say on a personal note, I've had the pleasure of working with your team pretty closely. Me and Jonna were actually in an industry certification together for the last several years. And I have to say, they do your community incredibly proud. You don't get to come to the conferences for our industry that I get to do, but your team represents your community extremely well and something you guys should be very proud of. The certification reflects your dedication and the partnerships that you've built through Discover San Angelo with the community. Tourism-Friendly Texas is more than a certification. It is a commitment to continuous improvement and to ensuring that tourism remains a sustainable asset for future generations. San Angelo has demonstrated that commitment through thoughtful planning, strong partnerships, and a shared vision for the future. On behalf of the Office of the Governor, Economic Development and Tourism and Travel Texas, congratulations once again to the City of San Angelo and Discover San Angelo on becoming a tourism-friendly Texas certified community. We look forward to continue watching San Angelo grow as a destination where visitors come to experience authentic West Texas history, vibrant arts and culture, exciting events, outdoor recreation, outstanding hospitality, and the unmistakable spirit of West Texas. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. You. There happens to be anybody here from the San Angelo Association of Realtors, come on down. Come on up, Joanne. Just one or two. Yeah, just a couple. Just a couple of them hanging out. Oh, Tiff, they haven't seen you and don't recognize you outside the pool. Yeah. Everybody up here. The San Angelo Association of Realtors was established in July of 1926 by a group of local real estate professionals dedicated to promoting ethical business practices, protective private property rights, and advancing the orderly growth and development of the San Angelo community. Readers are a little far. All right. For 100 years, the association and its members have played an important role in helping families achieve the dream of home ownership, supporting local businesses, fostering economic growth, and contributing to the quality of life enjoyed by residents throughout San Angelo and the surrounding region. The San Angelo Association of Realtors has continuously upheld a strong commitment to professionalism, education, and service, while advocating for policies that strengthen property rights, expand housing opportunities, and promote vibrant neighborhoods. Throughout its history, the association has partnered with community leaders, local governments, charitable organizations, and businesses to support initiatives that enhance the prosperity and well-being of the citizens of San Angelo. The San Angelo Association of Realtors has successfully adapted to a century of change in the real estate industry, embracing new technologies, evolving market conditions, and changing consumer needs while remaining steadfast in its commitment to serving the public and its members. 2026 marks the centennial anniversary of the San Angelo Association of Realtors, providing an opportunity to celebrate its rich history, honor the contributions of generations of real estate professionals, and recognize its lasting impact on the community. Now, therefore, I, Tom Thompson, Mayor of the City of San Angelo, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby recognize the 100th anniversary of the San Angelo Association of Realtors and extend its appreciation and congratulations to the association, its members, past and present leaders, and affiliated partners for 100 years of dedicated service, leadership, advocacy, and commitment to the citizens and property owners of San Angelo, Texas, and the Concho Valley. Before I turn over the mic, we're going to do an audible here, so everybody get a little nervous. But I get to travel a lot. I get to see a lot of people, and coming in and out of San Angelo, I've sat on a plane many times, and coming in here with people are coming here for the first time. And I get the, and y'all have heard this 100 times. You know a good realtor? Nope, but I know about 100 of them, all right? They are the face and usually the initial steps anyone has coming in and greeting our community. And we could not ask for a better crowd to do that. So with that, Tiffany, I'm going to turn over the mic to you and let you finish this up.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany Sellers. I am the president of the San Angelo Association of Realtors, and I have with me today a few members here. I have some of our executive team. We have Mr. Will Barnes. He is our president-elect. Yes, I knew that. He's our president-elect. And then we have Roy Zesh. He is our past president. And then we have Miss Lauren Edwards, and she is our treasurer. And then we have, of course, our amazing members of the organization, which is some committee chairs, some co-chairs of some of our committees, and they're pretty awesome, okay? So with that, on behalf of the San Angelo Association of Realtors, thank you to our mayor and city council for this incredible proclamation recognizing our 100th year anniversary. We are truly honored. For the past 100 years, our association has been more than just real estate professionals. We have been neighbors, volunteers, advocates, and community partners who have helped generations of families achieve the dream of home ownership while supporting the growth and success of San Angelo. As we celebrate the centennial milestone, we also celebrate the relationships we've built and the impact our members continue to make throughout our community. It is a privilege to serve as president during such a historic year, and I am grateful to everyone who has helped shape the legacy of our association over the past century. Our celebration continues this afternoon with our official centennial ribbon cutting at the San Angelo Association of Realtors office from 3 to 4 p.m. today. We would love for our community to come and join us as we celebrate this historic milestone together. Our commitment to this community goes beyond buying and selling real estate. On July 14th from 5:30 to 7:30, we'll invite landlords, tenants, property owners, and anyone interested in housing to attend our landlord-tenant forum at the association office. This free educational event will feature experienced speakers who will provide valuable information, answer questions, and help educate our community on landlord-tenant issues. Thank you again to the City of San Angelo for this special recognition, and thank you to our members, past and present, for 100 years of professionalism, integrity, service, and dedication. As the first African-American president of the San Angelo Association of Realtors in our 100-year history, it is truly an honor to help lead our association into its next century. Together, we will continue building stronger communities, opening doors to opportunity, and serving the people of San Angelo with excellence. Here's to honoring our past, celebrating our present, and building an even brighter future in the next 100 years. Thank you.
You still in that one? Daniel, come on down. Please, sir. Got to get where they can see you. Sometimes as a mayor, you get to do some things you want to do, sometimes you don't, and this is one that I'm honored to be here. And it is, I get to say mine first. I guess I call that mayor's privilege. When I started in 2017, I had a different view of what municipal government was and what it is. Daniel taught me to look at it more, I would say, as a family. I came in with the view of a screaming, mad little kid. I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Daniel taught me to look at it from a bigger picture and a higher altitude, more as a parent. Sometimes you argue your things and discuss them like a brother and a sister, is you see both sides, but you're trying to help your sibling in the side, or also. And Daniel taught and educated not only me, but all of us how to do that with compassion, honesty, and perseverance, and always looked out for the city. I'm fixing to read a statement here for Daniel, and if I can get through this, it'll be great. May choke up a little bit, but it's been an honor, sir, to serve with you. It is my great honor to recognize and celebrate the remarkable career of our city manager, Daniel Valenzuela. Daniel joined the City of San Angelo in 2012, and over the past 13 years, he has provided steady leadership through changing priorities, evolving challenges, and countless opportunities. In today's environment, the role of a city manager has become one of the most demanding and at times one of the least desirable positions in public service. City managers are expected to balance the priorities of elected officials, employees, and the community while navigating increasingly complex challenges, all under the constant public scrutiny. It's no surprise that many city managers now serve only 2 to 3 years before moving on. That's what makes Daniel's nearly 14 years of dedicated service to one community so extraordinary. His longevity speaks not only to his resilience and professionalism, but also to the trust he earned from 4 mayors, numerous city council members, and the employees and residents he faithfully serves. It is a rare accomplishment and a testament to his unwavering commitment to the City of San Angelo. One of the greatest compliments that can be given to a public servant is that they leave an organization better than they found it. And Daniel has done exactly that. His leadership has resulted in meaningful improvements throughout our city and our organization. Yet, while buildings can be renovated, infrastructure can be expanded, and programs can be created. True measure of a city manager is the culture they help build. More than projects or policies, one of Daniel's greatest contributions has been the culture he helped create, where employees feel valued, public service is a calling, and treating people with respect is simply the way we do business. That culture will remain one of his most enduring legacies and will continue to benefit the City of San Angelo long after his retirement. Those who have had the privilege of working with Daniel know that his leadership extends far beyond budgets and council meetings. He has led with dedication, generosity, kindness, and genuine humility. He has always made time for employees, encouraged professional growth, celebrated successes, and supported people during very difficult times. He understood that our greatest asset has always been our employees, and he never lost sight of the people behind the work. Daniel's love for this community has been evident every single day. His decisions have been guided by what is the best for San Angelo, and that commitment does not end with his retirement. We are grateful that he has chosen to continue calling San Angelo home, where his passion for this community will undoubtedly continue to make a difference. Daniel, public service is rarely easy. It requires long hours, difficult decisions, and often working behind the scenes without recognition. Yet you have dedicated over 20 years of your life to serving cities and in part serving San Angelo with integrity, professionalism, and unwavering commitment. For that, we're sincerely grateful. On behalf of the mayor, city council, city employees, and the citizens of San Angelo, thank you for your leadership, your friendship, and your service. Thank you for leaving this organization stronger than you found it. Thank you for the countless lives you impacted and the legacy you've created. We wish you and your family every happiness in this next chapter. Congratulations on a well-earned retirement. Please join me in thanking Daniel Valenzuela for his extraordinary service to the city of San Angelo. Let's take this photo. We're going to take a quick photo with this plaque, and then we're going to have a recess for 30 minutes for a slight little cake and conversation. You want to say something first before the plaque? All right.
There you go. Mayor, first of all, thank you, sir, for the kind words and a summation. I appreciate all the words that you said. I have lived my life, and I've tried my best. I've fallen short every day, fall flat on my face, but I do try to live it, placing God first in my life, my family, and in service to others as well. Thank you to my Heavenly Father, and to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and to my beloved Holy Spirit that guides me every day. Like I say, I try my best, but I do stumble. I'm not perfect. I couldn't say enough about Susanna, my wife. She's been my cheerleader. She has been that person whom I could go home to and talk to. And this job is a very stressful job. Everyone sitting here and everyone sitting back there volunteering, it's a very stressful job. And I can tell you right now that my wife has been instrumental in getting me through so much of that. Sweetheart, I love you very much, and thank you for always being there. I want to also thank my staff. My staff has been incredible. When I first showed up here in San Angelo back in 2012, I had Rick Wise, who's sitting back there. I had Michael Dane and Becky Dunn. On the fourth floor, we were that team. We were that family. We just worked so well together. And I am so thankful to them for being there for me. And for all my directors, whom quite frankly I would compare to any other directors in any other city. These guys are excellent. They do a wonderful job. They care a lot about this community, and they put their best foot forward every single day. Regardless of whether they get pats on the back, a lot of times it's a criticism. But they still do what they do. They love what they do, and they do it with service. They do it with good intention, with a big heart as well. I'm so thankful and grateful for all of you. To my staff, I love all of y'all. And I think that as we move forward, I've had a chance to meet our future city manager. I think our city staff will be in great hands, and that makes me feel so much better. City council members, when I showed up here in 2012, Alvin Yu was a mayor. I moved from there to Dwayne Morrison, to Brenda Gunter, and now to Tom Thompson. I have been very blessed to work with great leaders. The city council members, I've lost count of how many I've served with in the past 22 years in 3 cities, right? Almost 14 years here. But this council y'all have right now, they're outstanding. And it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to work with everyone. I stand here humbled. I stand here knowing that only through the grace of God did I end up in this position. in a position to serve. And finally, I want to thank the citizens of this community. I've always said that I'm here to serve the citizens of this community, the city council, and my staff as well. For the citizens of this community, y'all have taken my family and me in. You loved us. We've loved you back. And as the mayor said, my time here, we're going to be living in San Angelo. When I retire, people have asked Susanna and myself, where are y'all moving to after this? Well, we're going to do some traveling, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're staying in San Angelo. This is paradise for us. We love this community. We're not going anywhere else. With that said, thank y'all so much for all that you have meant for us. I also want to especially thank my new team. We have Tina Dersky and Shane Kelton. They are going to do an incredible job. They haven't announced a gentleman yet, but I can say right now, Phil, you're very blessed to have these two here, along with the directors that you're going to be inheriting as well. Michelle, where's Michelle? Michelle Boland back there, my goodness, on the fourth floor, she's a true boss. She's the one that keeps us organized. She's the one that keeps us going in the right direction. Michelle, thank you for all the work that you've done in the time that you've been here. I am so appreciative of you. But to all of you, council members, past council members, citizens of this community, staff, directors, assistant city managers, all of you, thank y'all so much. I love y'all, and God bless.
We have a plaque here for Daniel for his 4 years of dedicated service, and I just would say this is just the smallest token of what you have done for years. So right now, let's take a photo with you, Daniel, with City Council, and then we'll bring up and do some more photos, and we'll go into recess for about 30 minutes. I'll come up here.
services way back when, and he didn't give me the courtesy of returning the phone call.
We'll give about a 3-minute warning and we'll come back to order. Somebody give me an exact time. Wait a minute. All right, at 9:30, we'll call this meeting back to order. After the completion of the reception, we'll move into number 5, public comment. Members of the public may raise issues or concerns not listed on the regular agenda during this time. To participate, please sign in with the city clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. Speakers will be called in the order they signed in. When speaking, citizens must speak from the podium. Address all comments to the dais. Begin by stating your name and address or single-member district number, and limit your remarks to 3 minutes or less. Heather, first public comment.
China Young.
China, I know you're here. I saw you.
Sneak in anymore.
Nope.
Hello, China Young, SMD4. So at the last council meeting, I brought up some of the differences that I've witnessed between how San Angelo seems to treat small business compared to larger corporations when it comes to economic development. Businesses like Good Movement, Carter's Sugar Shop, and Tile Creations have been hurt by the Chadburn Street beautification project. I am glad that city leaders did meet with them last week to discuss ways to help, but it's unfortunate that it came only after these businesses were already suffering from months of reduced foot traffic. That contrast is especially noticeable today when the council has 2 separate Chapter 380 agreements in executive session. For anyone watching who may not know, these agreements are where tax abatements and other taxpayer-funded incentives are negotiated. Through the Texas Public Information Act requests, we've already seen an email from Jeff Snowden of Capex Resource Group listing tax abatements and a draft 380 document, both related to the proposed Skybox data center. And today there's also a 380 agreement related to the Stock Show and Rodeo Coliseum project, which taxpayers already agreed to help fund that project through a bond election. So if the public is already paying a significant portion of that project, I'm not really sure why the city is also negotiating tax abatements for that. But I wanted to call attention to it. We have local businesses impacted by city projects that have to wait until they're already struggling before support is offered, while larger developers seem to receive proactive negotiations before they've invested a single dollar into our community. Help me make it make sense. I've heard city leaders say the Skybox project could eventually represent nearly half of San Angelo's tax base. And if that's true, I think we should ask whether concentrating that much of our economic future into one industry and a handful of massive technology companies is actually responsible. The heart of San Angelo isn't a data center. It is the people who live here and the local businesses that hire our neighbors, sponsor our events, and reinvest in this community every day. Many of us intentionally choose to spend our money locally because we believe that's how you build a resilient economy. Completely unrelated, but I finally want to request that the council consider alternate meeting times each month, one meeting at 8:30 a.m. and one at 5:30 p.m., so that working residents have at least one realistic opportunity every month to participate in their local government. Thank y'all.
Thank you, China.
Steve Elanius.
Mayor, Council, Steve Laney, as President and CEO of the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce. First of all, I want to commend you guys for what you've done in terms of listening to the citizens and then also coming up with, I think, are very reasonable ordinances and guidelines for a data center. I think the issue in terms of water, and I think that in terms of the issue of sound, I think you've done an excellent job. So I want to commend you on that. For those of you who are old enough, you can remember these brick phones. It is a technology that you could only use it to make phone calls compared to the technology we have today, in which you can text, you can watch videos, you can check the weather, you can even measure your steps. But if you remember, when these first came out, the big concern or fear was it was going to cause brain cancer. And as we can tell from 30 years ago, there has not been an increase in brain cancer because of these phones. It was an unfounded fear. And I'm going to tell you the same thing about data centers. I think some of the concerns, I think once we get it moving and moving forward, it's going to be found there's not going to be a lot of concern about it. I also want to conclude with these deals are not done. San Angelo, in terms of the emergent data center, stuff can happen, and it has nothing to do with what San Angelo does here. And that deal can go someplace else or may not happen at all. So keep that in mind as we move forward. We're going to have other opportunities with other economic development projects, and I encourage you to keep having that reasonable approach, listening to the citizens and finding good solutions. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve.
Jamal Schumbert.
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I have a few things to talk about today, but I'm going to start with what I think was most important to me, and that would be the police headquarters on your capital improvement plan. I see y'all have $15 million for it, but y'all don't have it. Y'all haven't proposed anything or moved it forward. I would like y'all to be active on that. And include cadet housing. That will help retain and recruit some of the people you need. And from all the meetings, he's having trouble with it. Also, could you also create a lobby, a large enough lobby, maybe 50 to 100 people, because the homeless people at night are destroying your town. They're taking trash from one area to another area, and then from that area to another area, and your nonprofits are giving them the trash. We're donating the clothes. They're taking those clothes, wear them a week or two, throw them out. Whole bags of trash, whole bags of donated items, and it's not the nonprofit throwing it in these neighborhoods. That's why I say maybe we should focus on satisfying the police. Happy police, you'll have a happy town, I promise. And as far as attractions, tourism, have we ever thought about maybe creating a maze like a labyrinth? In Texas, a lot of farms have corn mazes. Maybe we could have a bush maze for an attraction. And I know it's late, but maybe we could have worked with the school. They needed an innovative learning space. A tunnel in West Texas would have been great. A shopping tunnel and an educational tunnel with classrooms in it. It would have had to be sectioned out to where you can only enter one side of the tunnel for school and one side of the tunnel for the public because of safety reasons with the school. But that could have been bond money used for a tourism purpose and also attract people here. We need things that says, hey, San Angelo is unique, it's different. The rodeo in Coliseum, it's different, but it's only because it's a dying sport. It's not saying it's dying here, it's thriving here. But in other areas, it's kind of dying. So I think we need to focus more on those attractions for local people and maybe even the Gen Z generation, because we're kind of missing that excitement and that talk around the state of Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal.
And Monica Ramos.
Monica. Bless you. Ooh.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council. Downtown San Angelo Inc. and San Angelo Live just hosted our 6th annual Star Spangled Banner concert and fireworks show. And I just wanted to come up here to thank our top sponsors, AEP, Shelburne Financial, Dynasty Wireline, Sendero, and of course the City of San Angelo for your in-kind support of this event. This is a tradition for families. It's a free event, it's a free concert, so we're very happy that we were able to have another year of the fireworks show. We had about 700 people just down on the floor, but 4,700 within the river stage as a whole, and then not to count the number of people across the river at Bart DeWitt Park, where we had our vendor fair. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Liz Galvan with Bulgasso Markets for helping us with that part of the event. But again, this is a community event. It brings people to downtown. There were cars parked all along the streets of downtown to watch the show. Many of the businesses nearby played off of the event as well to host their own watch parties. So we're glad that we were able to bring that to downtown and bring people to our downtown neighborhood. Also, Parks did a great job, as always, of helping us set up and prepare for the event with their cleaning and their hands-on help on site before the event and the day of. So I thank all of the park staff that was out there helping us, as well as Civic Events. They were out there sweating with us and bearing the heat as we're setting up tables and chairs at the river stage. It's a lot of work, and so I really, really appreciate the city's assistance. And then as well as our volunteers, Goodfellow helping with the heavy lifting and the W3 group helping us hang banners. All of our volunteers and our DSA interns helping out the day of the event. It really means a lot to us. And of course, last but not least, our downtown San Angelo staff and our board members for helping us coordinate and make the event possible. Thank you so much to everyone, because this is a large event that we want to continue to bring to San Angelo and bring quality and keep the quality going in the future. So thank you all very much for your support.
Thank you, Monica. Number 5.
That concludes public comment.
All right, with the conclusion of public comment, we'll move into the consent agenda. We'll move down here. We'll start with Tommy. Tommy, if you got anything to pull? I have none to pull. Patrick? None. Sir? None. All right. Karen? No, sir. Mary?
I already spoiled it. C, F, and J.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to pass all consent items except C, F, and J. I have a first from Tommy. Second. A second from Patrick. Is there any public comment on anything excluding C, F, and J?
Jamal Schumpert for item H.
Okay.
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I'm happy to see the firefighters getting what they need. I've seen 2 years ago they was coming up here looking for those apparatuses, and they didn't know how they was going to get them. I think that's a great investment in them, especially since that we're expanding and they're needing more firehouses. I would like the board, the council, to keep that in mind, that we're going to strain our resources and our sources just to expand, because it's a lot of effort towards the southwest, south area because of the highway. That will force another firehouse, and we're already down one from the last conversations I listened to. That's really all I wanted to say, but thank you for supporting them, because they do a lot for the community here and outside of here. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jamal. Any more, Heather? With public comment over, we'll ask for a vote on all items except C, F, and J. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes 5-0. All right, we'll move into item C, consider amending civic events policies and recommending any related matters. Sidney Walker, you're on.
Hello, Sidney Walker, Civic Events Manager, here to answer any questions regarding our civic event facility policies. Just a background, we look at our policies every 2 to 3 years. in conjunction with our city staff, as well as Civic Events, our advisory board. We review these policies, and then we bring them forward to you all in hopes that we can get the changes that we need.
Could we see what those policies are? Because you're changing something that I'm not even aware that is available.
Yes, ma'am.
What all are you changing?
Okay, we'll go ahead and start off with the bookings. So our bookings for civic events facilities, you can now book our venue 2 years in advance instead of a year. So if you're looking for a date, let's say October of 2028, you can now book that date the first business day of October in 2026. Also, insurance is now due 30 days prior instead of 10 days. We also changed up some language. We removed language that had like the Conventions and Visitors Bureau to the Destination Marketing Organization. Also, we took out novelties and we replaced that with merchandise. And then also for if we have an event and let's say alcohol is being consumed or sold, and if SAPD cannot fill a position that we have open, we can now use private security to fill that position within 72 hours if that position is not filled. So that's only for events that alcohol is being sold or consumed.
Does that include I think it's called City Host, the contract with City Host?
No, ma'am, that has nothing to do with San
Nothing to
Angelo
do with
Host.
that.
No, ma'am.
Could you provide us a copy of your current policies, just so we could have that?
Yes, ma'am. They should have been on.
They were in the background.
They were in the background for the council item.
And
They were an attachment.
that was from last time, I guess, because it wasn't in this one.
No, it's there, Mary. I've got it pulled up.
It's not on mine, seriously.
Facility policies.
It's on the digital copy.
On the digital, okay. I thought you meant in our packet right
Oh,
here.
no.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's my
it's in
fault.
the
I wasn't aware it was on the digital part of it. When would y'all look at rates and fees as far as changing or updating those?
Or
Renting the facilities?
that is normally in our fee schedule.
Okay, I'm talking about if there were going to be any alterations to them or adjustments or, I mean, when's the last time that was looked at?
We just reviewed those with you all this past city council meeting.
Well, okay, on that, but is there an opportunity to change those, to upgrade those or update?
As a staff, we review those policies, those fee changes, and we've already discussed what needed to be increased. And there's a lot of those facilities that we have, they definitely don't need an increase, ma'am.
That definitely do or do not?
We
Yeah,
don't.
I would agree with you there.
We want to stay competitive.
Well, that was my deal. My problem, I didn't look at the digital part of it, but thanks for at least enlightening us as to what the changes are on your new policies.
No problem. Any other questions?
Hey, Sydney. Do you think there's anything on this that needs to change in the future to help utilize our facilities more? Is there anything that was changed that might hurt, or is this to help?
I think with the bookings changing to 2 years in advance instead of a year will help us bring in more events. We see a trend that people are looking for venues a lot earlier than that year, so we want to be able to fulfill those.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. A year was probably barely enough. And then on the concessions, I know, I think we still have a little over a year on the contract.
It's the contract with San Angelo Host would end at the end of June of 2028.
2028, okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have an opinion on our contracts with that? Has that, from my feedback from people, that has hurt us? Have you had that opinion or been told that any?
There are pros and cons to having a vendor, a concessionaire that's exclusive to our venues. I think that's a further conversation for in the future that we need to have a discussion to see if that's how we want to move forward as a city.
Perfect, thank you.
To kind of expand on what Patrick was saying, that great points. I know that contract, it comes up like every 5 years with the...
Mayor, this is probably off topic on this item.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll work. Just want to make sure that we start looking at that contract and let it come up for bid.
Yes, ma'am.
Sydney,
Any
real
other-
quick, sorry. Are these the only, there is one part on this, it's on the concessions, Coliseum, Convention Center, River Stage. Is this the full list of what's required for those concession items?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's, everywhere else would be open?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Move to approve.
I have a first from Mary. A second from Carrie Hessen-Smith. Any public comment on C? We'll look for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? When none opposed, item C passes 5-0. We'll move to item F. Consider resolution finding a public purpose and approving a request by Southland Hills, Inc. and Duncan Group Southland LLC for the city to pay for the material cost differential of $33,989 between an 8-inch diameter and a 12-inch diameter water line extension, street size and increase of Valley View Boulevards with a cost differential of $146,920 within Section 29 and 30 Southland Hills Addition Southland Hills, Inc. That will serve the planned subdivision expansion and potential future development in the area, authorizing an assistant city manager to negotiate and execute all necessary documents. Zeph, you're on.
Hi, I'm Zephyr Mendoza, interim city engineer, here to answer any questions regarding item F.
Could you just refresh our memory on this as to who requested that, the difference pay and stuff? I know we went over it and all, I just want to refresh now that we have a new set of eyes on it too.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. The developer is part of extending the utilities and roadway improvements with this, are extending in these areas oversized roadway, oversized water mains, and per our ordinance, we have the ability to contribute to that. So the request came from the developer, the staff evaluated the request, and we have brought it forward for consideration.
Is that going to be looked at each time, or is this going to be part of your standard way of doing that?
When development occurs in various parts of the city, we tend to look at utilities and roadway improvements that are needed for the area. And per thoroughfares existing or future thoroughfare plans, or per some of our utilities in the area master plans, we do contribute in those areas as development goes along with that. And we do evaluations for oversized water mains, as in this instance 8 to 12, and then roadways from our local collector plus 10 feet. Our standard. So, yes, we do evaluate that as we go on, and developers seek these requests.
Good. I'm glad to know that that's not just an automatic. I'm sorry. But no, that answers all my questions. I just wanted to hear all that again, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a first from Tommy.
Second.
Second from, was that Mary? Any public comment on this item?
Jamal Schumpert.
Jamal?
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I've been watching y'all pass these quite a bit. It's been a consistent thing. And in fact, it looks more like maybe a pipe expansion program, except with a road this time. I think we should probably put some structure into this because we don't have to give it to them. It's our choice. I think that structure should be where they built out 50%, maybe 25% of their proposed lots that they're bringing their water and utilities to, because we're actually spending that money for the water utilities, and we're straining our resources because it's not like it's inside the older parts of the city. It's on the outskirts, and that's, again, straining. So I think that there needs to be more accountability in them land. Once we lay the road and they got the resources, they start selling that lot higher and higher, and that will stifle development. And that's the problem we've been having. And I think we need to put some type of structure on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Any more?
That's all.
All right, with public comment over on item F, I'll look, we have a first by Tommy and a second by Mary. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item F passes 5-0. Now we'll move to item J, consider resolution authorizing the Animal Service Division to accept a donation of $90,000 for NextGuard from People Assisting Animal Control. Angela Bloss, you're on, Angela.
Good morning. What questions do you have for me?
this was a grant or a donation. How certain or how optimistic are you about that being an annual deal?
Well, this one was in trigger to the New World Screwworm. So since that was declared in our area, we were able to apply for a couple grants through Petco, and that just triggered these donations. And so People Against Animal Control reached out to us and offered this, and then we told them we had to go to council, so here we are.
Okay. That, wasn't it how do you say it?
Simparica?
Yeah.
This one's NextGuard, but the last one
Right.
we did was Simparica.
And that was the 40,000.
Yes.
Is this enough to reinstate having dogs and cats treated for fleas, both when they get in, but also before they're adopted out?
Well, we do it right now currently before they leave. When they're adopted, we automatically give them the flea and tick treatment as well as a bath. So that happens when they're adopted. Is it enough to get us there? It'll get all of our, with this one that we're getting, we'll give all of the dogs in the shelter and cats that first dose. So this round will. Now, moving forward, we'll have to continue to solicit for donations, but.
Well, I thought you just said that you gave them this when they got in and also when they left.
No, right now we're only giving it to them when they're adopted. So someone comes in and picks an animal to adopt, we give them the flea and tick treatment.
But not
right
on
then.
exit.
Not when they come into the facility.
Well, didn't it, the last word I heard, it was going to be, I think about $100,000 to do it on the outside or when you take them out. Have we moved forward on any of that, trying to secure that? Really, it is revolving around the health of the animals. We don't
Yes.
want to send them out.
So
They need to be in better shape when they go out than when they came in.
For sure. And we have been getting smaller donations that we can approve at a city manager level. Those have been coming in that y'all haven't seen. I believe Amanda just did one for about 4,000, I believe, and there was one before that. So we are getting smaller donations on the backside that doesn't come to city council. That is at the city manager's level. So Amanda and her team are continuously soliciting Zoetis, MWI, and there's a BI. I cannot pronounce it on here. I don't know how to say it.
Beringer Ingelheim.
There you go.
I
He's
sure
got it.
can't.
And so this one will, is that flea and tick treatment also treats the New World Screwworm. So that was the push for this one.
Okay.
So all of the animals currently at the facility will get this treatment.
Okay, good. Well, I don't want to ask about the screw worms. I got to stay on topic. I'm sorry. But that does help me with that, Angela. I
Okay,
think
great.
Any additional questions?
So Angela, you've said twice that this donation will serve your current population.
Yes, so we gave them the number that we had at the facility, and that's the numbers that they gave us that they
So
would.
$90,000 accommodates how many animals? Is there a number?
So our capacity, which we're always at, is 140 for dogs and 120 for cats.
I'm
So,
not super speedy at the math. What does that work out to be
260.
per animal?
I'm sorry?
What does that work out to be per animal?
Oh,
That
I'm
seems-
not. That would be
Seems
a
like there ought to be
Tina math.
more.
So the donation is actually going to be 1,500 doses of cat and 1,500 doses of dog that should accommodate for 1 month supply per dog for the fiscal year.
Thank you. That's exactly
So
what
the
I wanted.
impound numbers are approximately at 3,000, so it will cover all of those. Now, of course, weight, species, it's not going to level out exactly. And then also a correction, we are giving the flea and tick once the animal becomes our property. So once it is past its stray period, it is getting flea and tick. So we do have to monitor ones that have been there longer than a month to redose, things of that nature. And that's where we were needing a significant amount. When we talked to the state veterinarian with the current New World Screwworm, it did put a damper in our S&R program and as far as releasing adopted animals that were fixed, and they recommended that treatment. So this organization reached out to us from the grant application and offered to assist us with this.
Good, sorry about that.
Karen, to answer your question on the value per dose, the feline doses are valued at $25 each, and the canine doses are valued at approximately $35 each.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
it's been hovering around that amount. I think at one time it's like 40 is what Amanda has said, and I just want to say this. I know people think they come in, they go out. It's not static and it's not linear. The way you've got repeat offenders and all, and it's not as easily fixed as you would think. And I do understand that. But I would like to visit with y'all. Just I feel like we're on the cusp of really making a difference. I mean, we've been what I call a tweener, in between. You're not little, but you're not big. But I think that we are on that cusp to take that next step. And gosh, it seems like that's when it hurts the most, because you just want, you're right there. But I do applaud your efforts in applying for these different grants and at least keeping your eyes and ears open on that, because money is what it's going to take to get us to get these animals the care that they deserve and all. But I applaud your efforts, and I do thank you for being as transparent and as willing to let us know what's going on as you do. So thank you for that.
All right, with no further questions, can I get a motion?
I'll move.
I have a first by Merrick Coffey, a second by Karen Hesse-Smith. Any public comment on J? With no public comment, let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item J passes 5-0. With that, we'll close our consent agenda. We'll move into the regular agenda. Comments regarding items on the regular agenda may be made by the public when each item is discussed as outlined above. To participate, please sign in with City Clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. Speakers will be called in order they are signed in. Comments are limited to less than 3 minutes. Applicants, proponents, and appellants are exempt from the time limit above and instead must limit their remarks to 5 minutes. A, public hearing and possible action to approve a 5-year tax abatement agreement with Reinvestment Zone Number 24-1 with Technology Towers, LLC, pursuant to Chapter 312 of the Texas Tax Code, and authorize an assistant city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents. At this time, we're going to make a motion to pull that, correct? We're just going to pull that item and move it later. We're going to pull item A, remove it from the agenda, and now we're going to go to item B. Consider accepting the proposed 2026 annual action plan for the allocation of approximately $648,017 in CDBG funds, $260,143 in home funds, and approximately $8,000 in anticipated program income, and approximately $55,000 in uncommitted home funds from prior program years, and proposed update to the Citizens Participation Plan, last revised in 2015. Presentation made by Neighborhood and Family Services Director Angela Bloss.
Good morning, me again. I just wanted to come up and thank y'all for everything that you do. And then let's get started in this annual action plan. So we do present this every year to go through our allocations for the year. So our 5-year plan and objectives are to build or have 33 homes rehabilitated, direct financial assistance up to 5 households, 240 homes assisted through our rehab program, and then 3 new homes added to the affordable housing stock, as well as 10 tenant-based rental assistant clients served through the MHMR. This next slide here will go over our funding over the last 20 years. As you can see, we did have a little bit of a dip, but it's been holding steady the last couple of years, and we're hoping that continues. This one's for CDBG funds. So currently, the federal entitlement's going to give us $648,017, and then we do have the rehab loans of program income for $2,000. That'll give us a total of $650,017. As you can see, these are how it's broken down, and then as well as the prior year allocation. Not a whole lot of change there. All right, and then for home, we're getting $260,143 with program income of $6,000, and we do have $55,000 in prior year funds that we're going to use, and that's a total of $321,143. Again, it'll show you how it's broken down with the prior year allocation. The other programs that we offer and activities, indigent cremation, at-miss weatherization program, infill housing construction incentives, and then sewer water repairs. We get those royalties from the Service Line Warranties of America. And then this plan's in front of you. We'll have our public comment period. That's July 1st through the 31st. And then we'll bring this plan back to you, as well as the citizen participation plan. So that one hasn't been updated in a few years, so we had to change some HUD requirements as far as newspaper postings and meeting postings and that. So there's not a lot of changes in there, but we do need to have that updated to have that language. And then once that comment period is complete, we'll come back and bring you the final with the public comment in the draft, or in the plan for y'all to approve. And it'll probably be the second meeting in August, since the deadline for the first meeting in August will be up before our comment period ends. Okay, do you have any questions?
Go back to the slide that talked about the indigent care.
Oh.
Right there. We have a exchange with the county, correct?
I'm
Kinda
sorry?
How we do indigent care, and
Do
then
we- Yes, do we have a plan? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I am in the.
cremation, not care.
Yes, we have a policy in place right now. It is currently very old, so Tina and I have been discussing to update it. I would like to increase some dollars there, how much the reimbursement is and the policies.
Right. Okay, another one. Infill program return on it is great. Is there any chance of looking at the budget? I know we're extremely tight this year in Ugly, but it seems to me dollars invested into the infill program have a great return. So I was going to say, as we move forward into next year, if you find a way or to subsidize some more, that would great. I think that would be great. Because we're capped now, what, at 200?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that limits the number of houses they get, what, 5,000 or is it 6,000?
At five.
I think it's 5,000 per home.
Yes.
I'd love to see that. The more houses we can do, I mean, if we have to regulate that down to maybe 4,000 to stretch it further, but homes built is much better for us. So that was all I had a statement there, Angela. Any other questions
Yeah, of
from the
course.
dais? With all that done, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a second from Tommy Hebert. Any public comment on this item?
Jamal Schumpert.
Jamal?
Jamal Shumpert, SMD 3. I'd like to excuse Ms. Bloss from my comments because this is her first year running this actual program. I've been watching this program for quite a while, and it's only went down, and it's not because of funding. I think it's because of the advertising. A lot of the stuff I searched are sometimes people who work for the city or people who are contracted with the city who are receiving the most services. That was only in the state sales tax, but in this portion of it, why can't we use some of this to get rid of all those destroyed buildings in the north side? Because we could remove and clean up those buildings. This would be expensive, I know, but we had to drive by torn down buildings like off of Chadburn Street or on 14th Street, that hotel. It sat there almost a year, just dilapidated. Same thing right across the street from Central High School. Those are what those funds are for, and you have an extra $55,000 in there because they couldn't take advantage of an affordable housing assistance program. We couldn't do the 5 that we had been doing. So this program is also coupled with state tax dollars to maximize the benefit of the community. But instead of us making 5 houses go to 10, we took 5 and went to 3. And it's partially because in the state sales tax part of this coupled program, we gave that portion of it to Galilee Development specifically to do their programs. And they're building, I think, an 8-unit apartment building for foster kids that's taken over a couple years, maybe 3 years, well over what it should have cost if you built it brand new. So some of these failures need to be looked at, and they need to have a meeting. Once a year, that's the only time you have public comment. I know they have housing committees, but we're not invited to those meetings. And this is the only time, because I've spoken at the Development Corporation about this, I don't get much response because, like they say, that's Neighborhood and Family Services. But Neighborhood and Family Services doesn't have a meeting. So I don't know exactly how I can get through to these people. Not Ms. Bloss. She's been good when I had to talk to her about other stuff. But as far as paying attention to how this program's working, I need y'all to do more with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Any more public comment?
No.
With no more public comment, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item B passes 5-0. Moved to item C, consider an amendment to the tiers incentive policy to allow for owners of multiple properties within the zone to apply for funding on each individual property and allow for owners who own structures with multiple valid addresses to apply for funding per address. Presentation made by Planning and Services Director Aaron Vanoy.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. Aaron Vanoy, Planning and Development Services Director. This is a update to our policy. As you guys know, a few months ago, we had a couple of projects that came forward that didn't quite fit some of our policy language of how we would accept their application. And so we talked with our tiers board and some, as well as recipients of, well, how should we word this to allow city staff in our policies to accept the application, give the tiers board and the city council the discretion to decide how they wanted to fund for certain types of buildings. So this first one is a practice that we've done historically since tiers has been around, and especially in the last decade when we've had more funding available. This is owners owning multiple buildings for funding. So they may own one on Chadburn and they may own one on MLK, but they're the same owner. We don't have in our policy currently that they could be both funded. We've always just said, well, if they're different addresses, we would fund them. Well, this goes in and talks about those properties. This is the exact wording that we put into the policy, that they would, projects may receive funding for each individual property provided of available funding. The tiers board has the ability to consider the effects of one owner receiving multiple awards in one cycle and may use their discretion, and city council has the same discretion as above. What it really does is it allows city staff to accept that application, evaluate that application, and bring it forward to the tiers board to make the staff recommendation of where this would fit on our criteria. Then it really gives the tiers board the ability to say, okay, well, based on funding and cycles and what we have, do both of these properties owned by one owner justify the funding? If so, they make that recommendation. It comes forward to city council. Therefore, then city council can make that same decision based on the different property. What's the benefit of property A versus property B, plus the other properties that are in consideration for funding. So those are properties that have the same owner, just different addresses. The next one is talking about basically a structure. This is one that came up a couple of months ago, is that basically is one structure. Their proposal was to actually break that structure into individual addresses through building code and firewalls and things like that. And so in our policies in last September, we addressed the vertical things, anything over 2.5 stories, you could get funding for each story. Well, we're okay, well, if you're one structure that's under 2.5 stories, you can still get funding for each individual address for there, even if you're under one ownership or multiple ownerships. And again, it gives the discretion back to the board and to city council to make those final decisions. Obviously, what it really does is it gives staff the ability to come forward with an application to you guys to consider. It doesn't automatically reject the application. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Aaron, tiers is a very important part of what we've done as far as our revitalization up and down both. So when we say separate addresses, would they share a common wall? I mean, if you had something that had common walls and 3 different addresses, would all that apply for each one of those?
Yes, they could share a common wall. Usually to get a separate 911 address, you have to be a complete separate, and I say property, but you have to be a separate unit that has fire separation between another unit. Now, you also have buildings that have suite numbers, and that's where, if you're talking about vertical buildings that have suite numbers, well, you probably have one address but multiple suites. And so if you have over that 2.5 stories, you could get funding for those different floors. This allows you to get funding if it's more of a horizontal, less than 2.5 stories, that you could get funded, because we know it costs a lot to do renovation and to get our buildings in downtown and on North Chadburn and MLK and Bryant back online. We've got to continue to reinvest into those buildings to keep them viable. And so since we have funding currently, we are trying to be creative to find ways to get funding into those business owners' hands to revitalize those buildings.
Okay. My concern there is some properties might have an initial building, and then they might have a garage and maybe a smaller storage shed behind it. I mean, does each one of those earn the right to have a tiers fund to it? But seeing how this goes to the tiers board and also to council, you have basically 4 times to review that before it moves forward. So
That's
is
correct.
that correct?
And the only way saying an accessory structure in the planning world, we'd call those as accessory structures. Those usually do not have their own separate address unless they've become a primary use. So that doesn't happen very often within our tiers district. We typically look at the parcel and the address as a whole, what's going on there, how can tiers help fund those things? Is it facade? Is it sprinkler system? Is it safety concerns? We would try to encourage them to do both of them together or come in separate years for separate funding so that we can spread the funding out the best we can.
Okay, cool. That's it for my questions. Council? With no further questions, I'll look for a motion. I have a first from Karen.
Second.
I have a second from Tommy Hebert. Any public comment on this item?
Jamal Schumbert.
Jamal Shumpert. Jamal Shumpert, SMD3, sorry about that. I don't know if this will work because I don't think the fund is there in the setup. I think the people who own the building don't own the construction company to fix the building, so the prices will be raised once they get the funding. It's kind of like a dog-eat-dog world in the economy today. So I'll be careful on making some of these changes because 10 years down the road, it could be taken well advantage of, and Mr. Vanoy might not be here. I would suggest if this doesn't work in maybe 3 to 5 years, allow administration, Mr. Vanoy and his staff, to pick the buildings and ask the owners if they would like that type of facade or that type of improvements, and just go ahead and finish it out. Because in the north side, they could spend up to $25,000 and not have to pay anything, but they're not maximizing that. There are a lot of little projects they could do on their buildings for $25,000. It's not that they don't know. I think they're just skeptical of the arrangement and agreements over the tiers. But like I said, if this doesn't work, I can understand y'all trying so many things, so many different departments. So I'm not going to criticize it. It's brand new. I wish you good luck on this, but I do not want to see where there's no funding for something that community wants because we all gave it away on a multi-story building. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Any additional public comment?
No.
We've got a first and a second. We'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item C passes 5-0. We'll move to item D, consider resolution approving an encroachment with Downtown San Angelo, Inc. for the construction of the Chadbourne Street Downtown Archway and considering a fee waiver for the encroachment application and authorizing an assistant city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents. Presentation made by Planning and Development Services Director Aaron Vanoy.
Again, thank you, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. This is where Downtown Incorporated is actually doing fundraising for a new entryway archway here on Chadbourne. Maybe a little difficult to see here, but this is 4th Street and this is Chadbourne. You can just see the railroad there, and so the Concho Valley Transit is just to the north. So this is going to go, right now, we believe somewhere in this area, that it would be the archway that goes all the way across Chadbourne. So you see it as you come in from the north, and you see it as you're going out through the south. This is in the downtown neighborhood. District number 3, Mr. Harry Thomas. The vision is downtown, and this is a request to allow a temporary encroachment because the goal is to, once it's built and constructed, it will be given to the city for ongoing maintenance. And so it's just really a temporary encroachment during that construction time, as well as a fee waiver for the $800 encroachment fee. So again, here's just some site photos. Again, that's the Habitat for Humanity building. One thing that we noticed that they're going to work with our operations department as well as our engineering services. There are some other utilities in the area, and so they're going to look at what is the exact location. But we know somewhere in there is the proposed area. And as they come through this area with the Chadbourne Phase B project is when this will kind of get started in the area so that they're coordinating together. Again, just an overhead, you can see there's some underground utilities as well, and so we know that our engineering team and our operations team is going to be aware of that, of how those phases move forward, and to make sure that that structure is not going to harm those for future years of coming in and having to do, if they have to replace the sewer line at some point in the future, or if they have to go and fix a leak in the water somewhere, they're able to get to it without obstructions. Again, it's going to be a nice, beautiful archway. They're going to have these nice bases, and then comes up, has lighting, has a nice steel structure, comes across and talks about being downtown. Very, very great design, very similar to the one that's on Concho. Will come through and be a great addition to an entryway for our downtown. These are just the footprints, again, just kind of for the background information of where this is really the only size that's going to be attached to the ground. The rest of it is kind of an aerial encroachment. We did have our fire department and emergency services evaluate this to make sure that the height is good. They will continue to stay with the project as it goes to make sure that that final height is good for them to get their apparatus under.
What is the height there?
I believe it's just over 15 feet. Our requirement is 13 feet for our apparatus to get under, so I believe it's 15 feet to the bottom. And so the overall height is probably getting close to, and I can't really see that dimension on there, but that's probably close to a 20-foot height total. With that, staff recommends approval for the temporary encroachment as well as the fee waiver. The only conditions is to coordinate with city operations for the exact location, and during construction coordination, the contractor will obtain a right-of-way permit through engineering services, and the city operations department will coordinate acceptance of the structure upon its final inspections. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the dais? With no questions, I'll look for a motion.
So moved.
I have a first from Tommy Hebert. I have a second from Patrick Keeley. Any public comment on this item?
Jamal Schubert.
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I was looking over the paperwork, and on page 3, it said that the owner or authorized representative is the only one who could file an encroachment right away. And I didn't know if Downtown San Angelo, Inc. was the authorized representative for the city of San Angelo. If not, maybe y'all could designate them as authorized representative before you pass this. I'm not sure if they are or not, but they do a lot of work for the city. I think the archway will look good. I'm in favor of the archway, but I just like the paperwork to be correct. Because if I information requested and it looks wrong, then years down the road, I'm having an argument with Ms. Stastny about it. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Is there any additional public comment? We have a first and a second. Public comment complete. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes 5-0. Now we'll go to E, first reading and public hearing on ordinance for PD 26-01, a request for zone change from the single-family residential zoning district to a planned development zoning district with the base zoning of the infill residential zoning district to allow for 15 single-family homes located at 620 East 43rd. Presentation made by Planning and Development Services Director Aaron Vanoy.
Again, thank you, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. This is the PD that has been tabled a couple of times here at Council and was tabled once at the Planning Commission to try to make this work for the neighborhood around. And we have this kind of the larger overhead here, and you can see along 44th there are single-family homes. Along Bowie, there's single-family homes as on both sides as well. Lakeview is right over here, and you have some large tracts that are vacant, and then this tract that is mostly vacant has an older home that is going to be demoed as they build out. So this is a planned development here at 620 East 43rd. It's 1.3 acres. It's currently zoned RS1. Initially, they came forward with an RM1 zoning request, and they have come back and reevaluated that. And now that we have adopted some of the new residential zoning, they are opting to go with the RS5 infill, which allows single-family homes to be built on smaller lots. This is District 2, Mr. Joe Self, and it is in the Lakeview neighborhood. So again, you can see that the vision plan is neighborhood. That fits most of that area all the way up to 50th and even over to Armstrong. Most of that is RS1 zoning in that area. And so this would be a change to allow some zoning that would allow for some more density, being RS5, but allows still single-family homes and would be required single-family homes. So the initial notices were sent out. We did have 2 in opposition. We did send out notices again for this this rezoning with the infill and the single family, and we did still receive a opposition here. We did not receive anything here, but I don't know that it's actually gotten back to us or not. But in the initial stuff, there was just 2, and through this one, we have 1 confirmed that is still opposed to the development. So here's the original configuration. Back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, these lots were platted, very large. They are 200 feet deep. They are 50 feet wide. They would like to come back in and for this to actually have the infrastructure extended down and around and a hydrant and all those things. They have to have more density for it to pencil out. So they were looking at duplexes first. Now they've worked with SKG to come up with a site plan that's going to allow it to be still single-family houses, and I'll show that to you in just a moment. Again, this was, although they've done some cleaning up, but this is kind of the current state of the lot, trying to get it into a better use for that area and particularly around the school, and this is in the infill development area. I did put our residential zoning so that we could understand what is RS5. It is right there. So minimum lot sizes are a little smaller, 2,500 up to 6,000. The lot dimensions could be as narrow as 35. Their front yard setback being 15 feet, both side yards being 5 feet, and they would have a 10-foot. So you could still actually build a very good-sized home there if you chose to. It's just smaller yards. If you noticed in feet and in stories over here, all the way across, all of our residential has been consistent, staying at 2.5 stories and 35 feet. I also put in what is the structure types, and so it's very, very difficult to see here, but RS5 does actually allow multiple structure types, but we are doing this under a planned development, and with our conditions to help blend into the neighborhood, we are requiring them to only build single-family housing. So the only structure type would be a single-family detached house. And I'll show you that on the conditions in just a moment. Here's that site layout plan. They would have some that would front over here, but you notice that they have the drives and parking. They would have parking on each one of these. They would actually ask to utilize the alleyway there for parking for that one. And then they have these configurations here. So you can see the red lines are the lots. There's from 36 feet wide up to 100 feet in depth, so 3,600 square foot lots are kind of the smallest. Some of the ones at the back are bigger. You can see the house size being 25 foot by, I think it's either 35 or 40 feet. So a modest sized house, but still getting that amount of density there. Again, these are 200 feet deep lots. We would encourage that more density and have them broken up, and that you probably could get away with 10 to 12. And this allows a little bit smaller housing, infill housing, so it allows up to 15. They couldn't go above the 15 in the conditions. So we do believe it is compatible with the area. It is located near a school. We know we need more density around schools to continue to help support those school systems. It is the conditions of the PD we believe are pointed to maximize fitting in with single family. It does make up multiple lots. They did want to create duplexes and quadruplexes, and would help with our affordable housing in this area for it to fit in. We are saying let's build a more modest house that fits in with single family housing being a single family house. With that, we come up with these conditions. Obviously the permitting condition, they'll generally conform to the RS5. They would be limited to 15 total units, and it would be only single-family structures only. And instead of doing an urban design review that they really don't know what what we're going to ask. What we have asked in the conditions is 1 large tree per residential lot and provide 20% landscaping or turf yard, and that includes xeriscaping. So they have the options to do one of those things. They could do that all the way through, or they could do it on individual lots, how they chose for their property owners. But we are just asking basically a small landscaping plan that would allow them to do those things there. I'm going to go back to the site plan. And Mayor, I'll turn it back to you to see if there's any questions from the dais that you have for me to go over the site plan or any of the conditions.
Is that map there the maximum they could do?
Yes, this would be adopted with the plan development. They would have to come forward to Planning Commission and City Council to change this. They could request to change it, but this would be the maximum under the plan development we would require.
So they could do that or less?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it's some old home district. I know we're in dire need of housing out there, but I know there's going to be some questions about this, and we appreciate the owner coming forward and changing it because we didn't want to see the duplexes there and the multiple stories. So with that, I'll throw this open to questions from the dais. Tommy?
At this juncture, Mayor, no questions from me. It's platted appropriately, I assume.
It is not platted right now to where you can just see that these red lines here show that these two are flags back here. It is not platted in that configuration. They wanted to get the zoning complete before they went through a replat.
Okay, thank you. Does that have to come back here?
It would not come back here, but it would go back to Planning Commission.
Okay, all right, thanks. That's all I have, Mayor.
Gotcha. Patrick?
Are there going to be alleys on the top on the left there?
There is an alleyway here existing through the plat, and then this is actually a road here, and then this is the front road there. So there would still be an alley. Now, right here, there's actually some obstructions. I'm going to go maybe back to...
So yeah, I think that very first picture, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see there's the platted alley when it was platted. That is still an alleyway. To our knowledge, it has not been abandoned down at this end, so it should be a full alleyway.
And on their parking, are they using any of that, or is it all going to be available through the front side there?
They will utilize the roadway here to come in and create parking there. These side houses will actually use this for parking here, as well as that one. This one is, they would ask to come in through there, where we typically, through the development process and the plat process, we would require them to improve that alleyway to a portion so that then they could use that as their drive, as their paved connection.
And the size of the homes looks like roughly 1,000 square feet?
Roughly, yes, sir.
No covered parking areas or anything like that? I mean, that'll be the actual housing structure?
Yes, sir. That's our understanding today, yes.
That's all I've got. Thank you.
Karen?
Can you just remind us, please, plan development zoning designation, does that allow STRs by right?
This one will not.
Okay.
Because it is an RS district as the underlying zoning. So we would say that it's not based on that zoning. I would say that that could be a condition if you want it specifically in there, that these would not be allowed to be short-term rentals. We could add that, but through our current ordinance, anything that's an RS district is not allowed to have a short-term rental by right. They would have to go through the conditional use process.
Mary, you got any questions?
Not really. I just, when could that be added if no short-term rentals by right in this? Is that in?
You could add that as a condition today through a motion. You could add that through this PD, no short-term rentals. So we would interpret this today as no short-term rentals allowed by right. They would have to go through the conditional use process since they're an RS, a residential district, which would then mean they'd have to have a 500-foot separation between short-term rentals. So there's a possibility that you could probably have two on that property, but you couldn't have every single one of them. And that's the difference between the RM zoning base and the RS zoning base. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have at your command any mention of opposition to short-term rentals from the community, either in this last round or in earlier rounds?
I think verbally, we did have someone that came and spoke and mentioned short-term rentals. I don't remember it being in writing. Most of what we've heard, and even the one today, is they really want single-family housing. But I do think they want it to look more similar, and I'd see if I can, more similar to, that's probably not the best image, sorry about that. Similar to large lot, single-family housing as opposed to smaller lot, single-family housing. And that's really the difference here, is this is smaller lot, single-family housing, less yard maintenance, those types of things, smaller houses, smaller maybe investment, but again, brings this whole block and area up with new property values, with new structures, starting to bring development, bringing infrastructure down this way that may turn into these properties developing over the next 5 to 10 years as well, right next to Lakeview High School.
Mayor. Aaron, you mentioned improvement of the alley. Was it only on that one end? Is that what I understood?
That is correct. That is what we typically do if we have someone that is using the alleyway as their primary access to their parking. They improve that section of the alley to make sure that it's a paved surface, not just a caliche surface or a dirt surface.
Is there any talk of improving in any way the remainder of the alley? I guess that would be back to the west?
We from the city side would not, because we simply just don't have the ability to maintain alleyways. And if they're not going to be using that as parking, we would not maintain that. But where this is almost on a daily basis, having a vehicle come across it, then we would ask for them to upgrade that to a paved surface.
Okay, thanks.
Aaron, can you go back a photo? Until you go back to your Google Earth photo. Shows the house. That one house there in the upper left-hand corner, is it right on the property line of the alley?
Yes, it is. This one here, yes.
Yep.
We believe it is. Probably been that way for decades.
Right. And these others will be set back how far?
They will have a 10-foot rear yard setback is the minimum, but they could do further than that. What they're showing on there is about a 20-foot setback.
Right, okay. I think we've got a general consensus here. I believe our STR program has a process. I don't know if I would support putting in and exclude STRs completely. I think there is a process for those to move forward. It includes multiple reviews through planning and forward. So I'm good with as it's presented. Are there any further questions from the dais? I make a motion to move forward as presented. Karen gave me a second. Heather, I believe we got some public comment.
Yes. Samantha Brooks.
Ms. Brooks? She's the applicant. So let's go. Do we have another one first?
Yes. Jamal Schumpert.
Okay. Who?
Jamal,
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. I will tell you this is probably a bad idea, and the people it's your home district, as you said. They don't want small spaces. I actually educate their kids. They're kind of active. Smaller spaces, no parks. You're gonna have more gunshots, more killings, more crime. And furthermore, it changes the character of the neighborhood. You said there'll be about 810 square foot homes from 870 square foot homes from the 25 by 35, and the lots were 10,000 originally, 10,000 square feet. Now they're gonna go down to possibly 2,500 to 6,000. The framework of these things are good, but in this area specifically, you would know more, Mayor. I don't think they would want it, and you got about 3 more years left. They will stay in tune with you. Right now, they're busy being mistreated by the school district. That's why they're not up here, or else they'd be up here screaming at you guys about, no, we don't want small lots. But yeah, I just wanted to come up here and speak for them because they're at work, and I know they're at work. They work hard, a lot of them. make sure that they're represented well, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal.
Ann Joseph.
Ms. Joseph.
Good morning, and thank you for your time. Real quick, half that alleyway has been abandoned by the city. It was years ago. And another point I would like to underscore, which has been touched on before, folks with kids, as Jamal said, want a place with a yard for their child. They don't want these small yards. And statistically, as I pointed out to you before, studies have shown that families with children who want to live close to schools want homes with proper yards. Excuse me, my name is Ann Joseph. I'm in Single Member District 2. Please note that there have been 2 voices in opposition, 0 in support from the community. This PD has been on the stove previously. Past comments have addressed the fact that statistics with families with children want proper yards. The proposed development of 15 structures, 2.5 stories high, on 6 lots, conflicts both with the style and distribution of single-family ranch-style homes that are currently in the neighborhood. By negatively changing the character of our neighborhood, our single-family ranch-style homes would lose value. Now, because somebody wants to make money, does that mean we should suffer and lose money? We've put money into our homes, we've improved them, we've maintained them. Another point is that we currently have owner occupants on this block. We would like to keep it that way where they stay long-term owner occupants. We have individuals on this block who have been there since 94, 2011, 2014, 3 since 2016, and 1 since 2023. Now, I'd like to point out this drawing. If you look at right across, here's the proposed area, 6 lots. Right across here, there is a row of single-family homes, small yards. They've been there for years. Sometimes they remain unoccupied. If the demand for this type of structure were so high, they would not remain empty. Point 2, statistics show that those types of homes, those types of accommodations, higher in crime. Case in point, just within the past month, we twice had ambulances, police, fire department pulling up in front of those homes. And at one point, someone in the home comes back to me and says, the police are asking for someone to come out. So I go up to the front of the house and I hear, come out with your hands up. And I look, and they're talking about a structure, one of those structures where a criminal was holed up. Ultimately, he set it on fire. Ultimately, the police got him out of there. But that's the kind of future we buy into when we have the smaller homes on smaller lots and in a close area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. At this point, I'd like to bring up the property owner. She's listed as public comment. We'll need your name and your SMD.
Samantha Brooks. I don't know that.
Pull the mic a little closer.
My name's Samantha Brooks. I live at 620 East 43rd. I don't know the SDM.
SMD2.
Okay.
Right, so. Originally, when this came, there was a different development program.
Yes.
And y'all changed that because of discussions about what people could see and in several conversations with Councilman Self and others to change this to be something more accommodating, similar.
Yes.
There's a big need for housing in San Angelo, so I get that. So tell me a little bit about how you picked the design and where you've gone to from here.
So honestly, after we met with Russell from SKG, we kind of just drove around and looked at some of the new developments in the area.
Okay.
There's the new development over there by Lincoln Middle School. We looked at that, and then we didn't stick just in our area. We kind of just drove. There's new development everywhere. So we drove and just kind of looked at different places that had been recently developed, and we decided to go with something similar to, a kind of a theme with what's by Lincoln, and then there's a theme over there. It's kind of off the loop. I don't remember what it's called. It's by TLCA. It looks kind of like, though they're not really apartments. They're single-family homes, I think, but they kind of look similar to what is being built by Lincoln. And so we looked at it. We looked at the, what do you call that, like a blueprint online, what they have, and we liked it. So that's kind of why we went in that direction. And that's really why we decided to go with something like that. Also because there was, not pushback, but there was so much discussion. Nobody really liked the idea of the duplexes, you know, and we did take that into consideration, that it was a big, I can't think of the proper term, but not liked.
How much yard space, green space do these have?
That I really am not sure.
Aaron, I think you had that on your,
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I'm going to move it back to, so as you can see on this slide, so if you take this one here, it's 36 by 100, so that's 3,600 square feet. You take away 1,000 for the house, say another 1,500 maybe there for this. You still have a large area front, back, that's over 1,000 square feet. That's the size of the house. That's yard. These that are bigger lots have much more than that. I would say the smaller lots over here have a little bit less, but again, we are seeing in our community and across Texas, young people, old people, they don't want yard maintenance. They want smaller yards. Maybe that's not everybody here. Maybe we have family with children, and I think this will still accommodate that. And if you think a 4,600 square foot lot, that's 400 less than our normal RS1 that we build day in and day out. We've done over 60 lots in Lakeview that are smaller than these lots for single-family housing. The challenge for any builder developer, when you have to come in and put infrastructure here, not just roadway, but there's not water, there's not sewer, you cannot build a house on that lot and make a dime. You absolutely cannot. You have to break those up. And that's not just San Angelo's numbers, that's Texas numbers, that's nation numbers. That is what we have to do if we want these property owners to continue to have a stable property tax. We have to do that. If we want their property taxes to increase, we say let's leave that blank. Let's not move on with development that works for today and the cost of today's infrastructure and services.
and that would be 15 properties to the tax roll over time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions. You're good.
Sorry, my husband knows the numbers and he's at work, so I apologize.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the dais? No further questions. We'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item E passes 5-0. We'll move to item F. You want to read the final one? I think you should read the final one. Yes.
My goodness.
Absolutely. You brought him, groomed him, trained him.
You know what, Mayor? It's
You
not
know
even
how to turn
training
that
knot.
on?
It's training
We'll turn that
knot.
on
There you
right
go. All right, item F. First reading and public hearing of an ordinance amending the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026 for animal shelter operational needs. Presentation made by Finance Director Jonathan Flores. You're on, Jonathan.
Good morning, Jonathan Flores, Finance Director. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council, Mr. Valenzuela. I'm bringing good news to you today. This is a budget amendment that we're bringing to you because we've had a successful adoption program. The adoption program has received an excess of revenue of what we have budgeted, and now we're bringing this forward to budget for the excess revenue as well as use that for operational needs. This would go towards some salaries, some overtime, as well as medical expenses as well. So this is really, that's really the total. It's a total of 60,000, almost 61,000 in revenue, and then the corresponding expense as well. Any questions?
I have one. Jonathan, you say, tell me again what this is going towards?
This mainly just general animal service operational expenses, primarily It's really primarily going towards medical expenses, but it'll also go towards covering some overtime as well at the animal shelter.
Okay, so it's not necessarily, don't take this the wrong way, people, but it's not necessarily a raise?
No,
Because
no.
we did have a substantial raise last year.
No, ma'am.
So this is medical for the animals and for overtime. And is that overtime, is that primarily for, I mean, for like weekend stuff, or how, what is your
Well,
overtime?
it really, this is a change in policy that we've had at the animal shelter. Previously, they would earn comp time. We would run into the issue every single year where that comp time would need to be paid out at the end of the year because they need to have it used by the end of the year. So instead of paying it out at the end of the year, realizing that expense then, we changed it to where they are now being compensated overtime. And so we're just bringing a budget amendment forward to budget for that piece as well.
Seems like you have to have twice as much overtime to cover the person that's on comp time, you know, because you kind of step in your own trap sometimes with that.
Yeah.
But keep that up. Keep up this, I like those kind of budget amendments.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
anyway, so thank you for that clarification and
Yes, ma'am.
going the right way instead of
Yeah.
the red way.
Any
Thanks.
additional comments from the dais?
Move approval.
All right, I have a first from Tommy Hebert. Get a second? Second from Patrick Keeley. All those, is there any public comment on this item?
What?
With no public comment, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of item F, say aye. Any opposed? Item F passes 5-0. At this time, we'll move into closed session, executive session under the provision of Government Code Title V, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government, Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, Exceptions to Requirements that meetings be open under the following sections. A, Section 551.071, Consultation with Attorney regarding Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 380, and Texas Tax Code, Chapter 312. Item B, Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney regarding the Chapter 380 agreement with the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo concerning Coliseum renovation. Item C, Section 551.074, personal matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, and duties of the city manager. At this time, we'll move into closed session for probably about 30, 40 minutes. All right, 11:44, we'll bring the meeting back to order. Go item number 9, follow-up and administrative issues. Item A, consider items discussed in executive session. Item I, consider appointing Philip Uridia as city manager of the city of San Angelo effective August 1st, 2026, and authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an employment agreement governing the conditions of the city manager's employment. Presentation made by City Attorney Brandon and Dyson and Human Resources Director Veronica Sanchez. At this point, you're just going to kick it back to, we're going to look for a motion on this. Can I get a motion? I have a first from Tommy Hebert and a second from Karen Hesse Smith. Any public comment? With no public comment, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item passes 5-0. Now we'll move to item B, announcements and considerations of future agenda items. Or do you want to go ahead and bring it?
Do you want to?
Let him do the public comment spot? All right. At this point in time, we'd like to introduce our new appointed city manager, Philip Uridia. And Philip, come up and make a few words.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the opportunity to visit. Did notice that as we start, we're going to have to get a shorter microphone. There's going to be a shorter person up here, but we'll work through that as we go forward. I appreciate the opportunity to address the Mayor and Council. One thing I will tell you is that I'm not a very long-winded person, but there's a few things that I'd like to say, Mayor, if I may. First, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Valenzuela for his career with San Angelo, and it seems like there's a great foundation here to continue to build upon. So congratulations on your next step, and I wish you and your wife and family the best going forward. But with that as well, Council, I also want to thank you for the trust you're putting into me to be able to lead the city. This is a job that people they applied for, they wanted it, and I was able to come in and be able to attain it. And I think that shows that San Angelo is a place where people want to be. People want to call it home. And I'll tell you that my family and I are very much proud to call San Angelo home. And officially next week we will be residents of San Angelo. So we're definitely looking forward to it. So thank you to the council for your trust going forward. But one thing, Mayor and Council, that I want to share, I'll be sitting where Daniel is sitting come August. I just want you to know that when you see me sitting there, it's not just me that's sitting there. There's been a lot of individuals that have invested in me that have been able to get me to this point. So I would definitely like to thank my family that's been able to help me get to that role, and that's starting off with parents that have provided a great foundation for me to be able to work from. But beyond that, there's several city managers that I've worked with, Judson Rex, Richard Morton, Michael Marrero, that have been great leaders that I've learned from and that are continue to be great assets and resources for me going forward. There's also several great work colleagues. There's folks like Crystal Owens, Cindy Muncie, and I'll even point one of the guys out back there, Scott Anderson. He was one of my directors in Odessa, and he made the drive over here to see me get appointed. So a lot of great friendships and a lot of great folks I've been able to work with in this career. But this is just the start of something great. But just know that those individuals will be with me going forward. But one of the sayings that's always out there is behind every successful man is a great woman. And I can tell you that I'm fortunate that I have two behind me everywhere I go. And you can see my wife Michelle and my daughter Michelle. My wife Michelle and my daughter Cheyenne back there. Got them twisted there. But they're definitely also happy to make San Angelo a home, and we're looking forward to being able to get in and work with everybody. So, Mayor and Council, again, thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to connecting, and let's get to work. Let's make great things happen.
All right, thank you, Philip. Now we'll move over to B. A couple of things I want to point out. The July 21st meeting will be at 5:30 p.m. right here in Council Chambers on July 21st. I'd also like to point out that I believe what is Friday, the 10th? It is the 10th. We're going to have a retirement party in the East Mezzanine, and everyone, absolutely. And are we 10:30 till 11?
10 to 11:30.
10 to 11:30. Let's give him an hour and a half instead of 30 minutes. Awesome, we'll do that. Yes. All right, with that, I'll ask all the council members, do you have anything you need on future agenda, Tommy? Patrick? Karen? You got anything for future agenda items you need? All right, Ms. Coffey? With that, I'll look for a motion. Anybody want to call
Move
this meeting to a
adjourn.
close? I have a first from Tommy Hebert and a second from Patrick Keeley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's close it at